Donald Trump supporter, Rudy Giuliani. Mr. Mayor, welcome back.
How are you, Chuck?
Back to back here on Meet the Press. I'm okay. Let me start with this. Definitively, is there any circumstance where Donald Trump would not show up to tonight's debate in St. Louis?
Oh, no. He's showing up. He's as prepared as he's ever been, and he's all ready for the debate tonight. And he's obviously, feels very bad about what he said. He's apologized for it. He'll probably do it again. But what he'd like to do is move on to the issues that are facing the American people. And they only have a few more days to kind of think about it.
Well, let me ask you this, though. Kellyanne Conway was supposed to come on this show defending Donald Trump. Reince Priebus, chairman of the RNC, was supposed to go on a couple other shows. They all pulled out. Only you are out defending Donald Trump. Are you the only one in the campaign that was willing to publicly defend him?
Absolutely not. I was with Kellyanne all day yesterday. She could just as easily have been on as me, and the same thing is true with Chris.
Okay.
So I'm the one who was selected for the show, but either one of the two of them would probably say pretty much the same thing I'm saying. I was with them all day yesterday.
Okay. As you know, in the last 24 hours, a slew of Republicans from across the country have said, Shelley Moore Capito, he needs to re-examine his candidacy. Cory Gardner, he needs to step aside, allow Mike Pence to be the nominee. John Thune, Donald Trump should withdraw. Carly Fiorina, I asked Donald Trump to step aside. Condoleezza Rice, he should withdraw. Is there any chance that Donald Trump is going to listen to these Republican Party leaders that are begging him to withdraw?
I think he answered that yesterday by saying he's in the race and he's going to remain in the race. He was selected by more Republican voters than anyone has ever been selected in a Republican primary. He owes them the duty to run. It is true that he said something and said a group of things during that interview that are reprehensible and terrible and awful, and he feels terrible about it. Yeah. It was 10 or 12 years ago. He wasn't at that time, running for office. He wasn't thinking of office. He's gone through it, I think, a very, very intensive process, as you know it is, in running for president. What is the last 14 months? He's been all over the country. He understands the responsibilities on his shoulders now, which weren't there back then, of all these people who believe in him, who believe that he can reduce taxes, make us stronger against Islamic terrorism, deal with this tremendous rise in crime.
But Mr. Mayor, let me ask you this. I understand this.
Last year, crime went up more than in the last 41 years. I mean, that's just extraordinary.
Let me ask you, though, let me go back to this tape. He didn't apologize for attacking a Gold Star family. He didn't apologize to questioning the nature of a federal judge just because of his ethnicity. Why did he choose to apologize for this?
Well, I think in this case he realized we're talking about his personal behavior and his statements that were absolutely wrong. And I think when he heard them, he was shocked. I'm not sure. I'm not going to say he didn't remember them, but they probably weren't at the top of his mind. And when he was confronted with it, he was pretty darn shocked that he had said such terrible things, and he feels terrible about it. He feels terrible for his family and how embarrassing it is for them. He feels terrible from his own point of view, but he also realizes he has a responsibility. And I think the last 14 months have driven that into him.
But there seems to be a pattern. There seems to be a pattern here. Let me play for you. This isn't the first time he's talked this way. Here he was with Howard Stern. Take a listen. Not 11 years ago, Mr. Mayor. That's now July of 2008.
Yeah, but still, he wasn't running for president. He was on a shock jock show. Howard Stern happens to be a friend of mine.
But why
is that?
Why is this idea? Why is it not running? Wait, let me ask you this, Mr. Mayor. Why is the idea of not running? Well, he wasn't running for president, so it's okay to be a misogynist. He wasn't running for president, so it's okay to make unwanted sexual advances?
Chuck, I'm not saying it was the right thing to do. I'm saying that, for example, when I was the mayor of New York and I went on Howard Stern's show, I made sure that we didn't fool around, we didn't tell jokes, we didn't say things that, would shock people. On that show, a lot of things are said that aren't true, that you just say them because they're funny. I'm a good friend of Howard Stern's, and I really like him a lot. But every time I was on his show, my mayor's people, handled it so that we never talked about things like that. It's not right to say it whether you're a politician or you're not. Now,
it's not about saying it, Mr. Mayor. It's doing it. He's bragging about making unwanted sexual advances. You're saying that the words are wrong. How about the actions?
Well, the actions would be even worse if they were actions. Talk and actions are two different things.
Wait a minute. I say that. New York Times. Temple Taggart was 21-year-old beauty contestant when she said Mr. Trump kissed her on the lips without invitation at a pageant event. It was an unwanted advance. She has turned over in her head for years. Watching him relive his sexual aggressions on this video, she said in an interview on Saturday, made me feel a lot better, she said. It was like, thank you. Now no one can say I made this up. You were just implying this stuff was made up.
I'm not implying it was made up. I said we're talking about things that he was talking about. I don't know how much he was exaggerating. I don't know how much is true. I certainly don't know the details of it. But I do know that this is unfortunately the kind of talk that goes on among a lot of people, and they shouldn't talk about this. This is wrong. He realizes that. He understands it now. He's running for president. He realizes that he's got the weight of the responsibility of all these people on his shoulder, and this is something he's not going to do in the future. And he's very apologetic about it and wants to move on to what's going to be really important 30 days from now. He is going to lower taxes. She's going to raise taxes. He's going to add to our military. She's going to decrease them. He's going to support the police at a time in which we've had the biggest increase in crime in the last 41 years. He's going to take on radical Islamic terrorism. And he's not, one thing he's not is what came across in WikiLeaks, and that is two people.
Okay.
Hillary Clinton actually specifically described that she's two different people. To the financial people who were giving her millions of dollars, she's on their side, and she wants them to be a big part of the government. But she tells them she has to pretend to everybody else that she isn't.
Well, then what does that say? If you believe that Hillary Clinton says one thing in private, and that means what she really is what she is in private, should we assume what Donald Trump did in that Access Hollywood buzz is really what Donald Trump is like in private? I mean, that's what you're implying here with Hillary Clinton.
You know, Chuck, the reality is that in both cases, both people have things in their personal lives that maybe if they could redo it, they would do it differently. And the reality is that this is a situation in which neither side should throw stones because both sides have sinned. So how about we put that behind us and we start talking about who's going to lower taxes, who is going to say the word radical Islamic terrorism so we can finally defeat them, and who is going to best be able to support the police so this largest increase in crime in 41 years doesn't start to become a trend. Is it going to be Donald Trump with his policies or Hillary Clinton, who has had a chance? She's been part of our political fabric for 30 years, and 70% of this country thinks we're moving in the wrong direction. She's one of the reasons for it.
Mr. Mayor, last question. Has he ruled out bringing up Bill Clinton's personal life at tonight's debate?
I believe he will not bring up Bill Clinton's personal life. I do believe there's a possibility he'll talk about Hillary Clinton's situation if it gets to that. I don't think he prefers to do that, but I think he will in trying to show
what situation.
What I'm talking about are the things that she has said and that have been reported in various books and magazines and other places about the women that Bill Clinton raped, sexually abused, and attacked.
None of it.
Not Bill Clinton's role, but her role as the attacker.
Well, I've run out of time because I know you have to do another television interview, but those allegations have not been true.
We would rather not get into that.
All right, Mr. Mayor, I will leave it there. We will watch tonight's debate.